welcome back to When the Cookie Crumbles. My name is Susan Reddick, and I'm your host. And today I have Yola Gautier. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Gautier with me. Yola, tell the people what you do. You wear many hats.
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me, Susan. It's such a privilege and a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
You know that you are a mentor and a wonderful friend of mine, and I'm just so privileged to have this opportunity. And well, I do wear many hats. I have a lot of experience in life, professionally and personally.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm a realtor with Richards Reddick Realty.
The best brokerage.
The
Go
best
ahead.
brokerage in the world. This year, I'm celebrating my 20th year in real estate.
Wow.
I did acquire my broker's license as well 18 years ago. And it was a couple of years ago that I saw what Richards Reddick was doing, and I just wanted to be a part of this organization, and I've been so privileged to grow with it.
And that was the biggest compliment also.
Well, I'm not disappointed at all.
It was so funny. She knocked on the door for our open house when we moved to the new building, and she walked in the door and she said, "I've been watching you on Facebook, and I'm going to join your company today." I was like, "Whoa, this is great.
Yes.
Come on in."
So as you've grown, I've grown as well.
Yes.
I've flourished as well.
Great.
But I started many years ago. I had a call to ministry, and I started off by going to college to study ministry, but then that didn't pan out. But in the meantime, I had the opportunity to work as a social worker, and then in 2002, I opened the business with my then husband, and we built a business from scratch, real estate and mortgage and tax preparation. And that was out of Miami, and then we extended our business to Orlando. And so we had 3 offices working, and we had a wonderful time. We had 3,000 tax clients. We had thriving real estate and mortgage in both Miami and Orlando. So that was the height of my professional career at the time. But then, as we know, life happens. And
Yes.
my husband and I divorced. And so since then, I've been allowing God to tell me what He wants me here for.
Yes.
And, I've been obedient, and I've been listening to His voice, and I've been praying, but it wasn't until 2013 that I remembered what He first told me, and that was He called me into ministry.
Yes.
So I obtained a Master of Divinity degree with a concentration in chaplaincy and pastoral care.
Yes.
And it wasn't for me to be the pastor of a church. God was very clear about me being a minister in the marketplace. And so here I am.
Yes.
And, when God puts a call on your life and He gives you gifts and talents, I have the gift of encouragement. He allows you to use it in whatever capacity that you're working.
Yes.
And so even in my real estate, I consider myself your realtor for life, because life happens, and life has happened to me.
Yes. Yes.
And so not only from a professional standpoint based on my training as a chaplain, but also, the ups and downs of life that has happened, I'm able to help my clients to walk through them, whether it's a death in the family, losing your parents and having to liquidate property when that happens, and all of the trials and the emotional baggage that goes with that. I have not only the experience, but I also have the knowledge and expertise to walk through that process with my clients.
And you're kind of the chaplain around here too. When we have training,
Yes.
Or when all the girls are together and Miss Yola comes in and we'll stop for prayer and stuff like that. I mean, she just kind of takes charge, and people appreciate that.
Well,
I know that we do here at Richards Reddick.
and I appreciate that, and it's really a privilege, and and you know how it is to be impactful in people's lives, because
Yes.
you're very impactful in mine, and just being able to be there for people when they need it.
Yes.
I've been able to do that as a coach, as an advocate. Most recently also I am an advocate, whether it's in the foster care system, and right now it's with people, I'm an advocate for those who are having difficulty getting health care.
Yeah.
And so basically across the board, God has put me in people's lives to fight on their behalf.
Yeah.
You know, he's giving me the strength, he's giving me the words, he's giving me the posture to do so, but he's also giving me the heart.
Okay.
And,
Well, okay, I'll tell you what now. So, who fights for Yola?
Well,
Which brings me to my next question.
uh-huh.
My next question is, tell me about a low point in your life.
Well,
Maybe something you've gone through that could help someone else.
well, yes. I'm actually still in the valley right now,
Okay.
or I'm just coming out of the valley. And one of the things that is important is that, you know, sometimes when you see someone like me come on a show like this, you think, oh, yeah, that person has it all together. You know, I could never be like that person. But no, I just have faith in a God who has never left me and never forsaken me. And I'm coming out of a valley right now for the past 5 years. You know, like I said, after almost 20 years of marriage, my husband and I did divorce. And it was a really difficult process, a really nasty process, to be honest with you. And for everything that I assisted him or that we built together was taken away from me. And I had to start over from scratch in my late 40s with 3 minor children. And so while that was happening, my mother had dementia and passed away.
Okay.
3 months later, my sister had MS and passed away 3 months after my mom. 6 months after that, my dad passed away.
Wow.
So all while I'm fighting a 5-year divorce and having lost everything and trying to comfort my children, it seemed like everything was falling apart, you know? And then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, that was it. I'm like, I just give up. It was like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
And having been fighting for so long in faith, I just stopped, like a lot of people did. And during that time, you know, I stopped being the minister, the helper, the one who was there for everyone, the one that was strong for everyone. And I just rested. And even in my very zealous relationship with God, I slowed down. And during that time, and it was about 2 or 3 years, God was with me in the whisper. He was there in the soft voice. And he sustained me. He took care of me.
He brought you through it.
He brought me through it. We were in the shelter of the Most High, in the shadow of the Almighty. And he's still bringing me through it.
Yeah.
But coming out of that, I have learned so much. For some reason, we don't expect horrible things to happen to us.
Yeah, we don't wake up thinking, I might get this on car today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes bad things are going to happen. Like
Yeah.
the older you get, is the more that is going to happen. Everybody's going to lose their parents one day, like I did.
But, you know, it gives you wisdom, though.
Yes, it does.
It gives you wisdom.
And as I am approaching my 50th birthday this year, I call it my year of Jubilee.
Yes.
I'm looking back to see all the mountains that I've climbed and all the valleys that I've gone through. You know, there's that song by Andre Crouch. I thank him for the mountains.
Sing, girl.
I thank him for the valley.
Sing.
And I thank him for all the storms he's brought me
Yes.
through. Because if I
That's
never
an old
had a
one, too.
problem,
Yes.
I wouldn't know that God could solve them. And so when you get to that point in life and you look back at what he's brought you through and how I'm still here in my right mind, then I appreciate everything I've gone through. And I know that God is going to use it for a purpose because he already has.
Yeah, you know what? And another thing, like you say, that you lost everything, but God he's restored you. He may have not restored you the way you thought you were, but actually, wherever you thought you were, it wasn't real. If you think about it, it wasn't real because it's no longer here anymore. You said it's something that you built with him. I never let a man define me. You know, for one thing, I do have a great husband now. I'm knock on wood, find me some wood somewhere, okay? But what I do, my husband, he compliments me. He doesn't define me, and he is my biggest supporter. So, you know, what I'm saying is, you looking good. You look like you're doing good. He's brought you through All your kids are healthy.
Yes, they are.
They're doing
That's
well.
And they are better people, and their character has developed in a way that would have never been. They're humble, they're grateful.
Yeah.
And we used to live a very affluent life, we had it all.
Yeah.
And going from having it all to having it taken away, it made me trust God and for His provision. And one of the things that God has told me is that, just like He just said, the riches in my life are yet to come. And they don't come from where I thought they did.
Mm-hmm.
And, just this week I celebrated a bad anniversary where I first found out that my marriage was falling apart 9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And on the day that I found it out, I thought, oh, my life is over, because I really did define myself as a wife and a mother. And I love that is my calling in life. But
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But just know that you're strong enough.
Exactly.
No matter what somebody throws at you, you're strong enough to get through it. It's something about our woman instinct that kicks in.
That's right.
That says, I still got to take care of these children. Man might get up and walk away. But we got to have that instinct that we're going to do whatever it takes to put bread on the table, keep a roof around it. And you have done all of that. So it's been a success.
It has been.
You ain't hungry.
No,
You got
everything that I need and more.
And we're talking about this because there's somebody out here who needs to hear this.
Yes. And this is exactly what I want to spend the rest of my life and career doing, because you did it for me. When you're going through something like that, you really do lose your community sometimes.
Yeah.
I lost my church community, not because they left me, but because I was ashamed. I was an elder in my church, and I separated from that. And all of my family died at the time, so I didn't have that support system. And so it's important for there to be people in community coming and walking alongside you. And sometimes it's new people, and that's what it was for me.
Yeah.
And so part of not only my ministry, because my work is my ministry,
Yeah, exactly.
is to encourage and walk along with women in transition. And that's one of the things that Kingdom Concepts is about. It's about having a network of professionals to assist women while they're transitioning. Whether that's a transition of going through a divorce, whether that's a transitioning of getting off of drugs and being ready to move on to the next part of their life. My goal has always been for people to be at their highest and best use. Yeah. That's a real estate term, but it can apply to people as well. And a lot of times we don't know what that is, and I don't think I knew what that was until people like you told me. And so I want to be there for people, to be able to help them to see them the way that God sees them.
Okay, well, tell me this. And what brought you through it then? You told us a low point. How do you think you pulled yourself up and got through that?
My faith in a good, merciful, kind, and loving God whose strength is perfect in my weakness.
Sometimes I think that things happen because God might have to get our attention. Things are going so well, and we got so much money in the bank and all these big cars, and we're partying and doing all these things.
Yeah.
And then we forget to thank God. So I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm saying sometimes God, he does it with me. He has to get my attention sometimes. And he has to get my attention. I have to go back to the basics. Just recently, I've been working so hard, I haven't been able to go to church on Sundays. And I said, from now on, I don't care what happens. If I have to work on Sundays, it's got to be after 3:00. Because I need to go to church, get my family situated, because I need to take it back to the basics. Because that is what has made me successful.
And then that is what has made me successful, whether it's my past success and my future success.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And the one that's going on right now.
Because you're still going up.
Oh, I'm still going up. And I feel more confident than ever, because I know that his grace is sufficient and his strength is made perfect in my weakness. So there's really no separating the two for me. My faith is where I'm at my best. As a chaplain, I serve people of all faiths. That's what my training is. I'm out in the community and I'm able to assist. But really and truly, sometimes the faith that people need has to come out of our mouths. We have to help them to redevelop it in themselves. And so, it's just such a wonderful thing. Like I said, I'm not where I want to be, but I am on the road to it. And I'm not going to wait, because do we ever get to where we're supposed to be? It's always a journey.
And you sure ain't what you used to be.
That's right.
That's right.
And I wouldn't go back.
Yeah.
I
I'm
would
talking
not.
about like when you thought you had lost everything.
Yes,
When you were
exactly.
down and you didn't think you could make it.
Yes.
You are
Ooh.
so much, you're not there no more.
Not at
You
all.
are past there.
I am past that.
It's in that rear view mirror.
Yes.
I love that story that Steve Harvey talks about, that you need a big mirror, window in front, because that shows you where you're going. The rear view mirror is small, because you just need a little mirror to show you what you passed. You don't need a big mirror here to look at what you passed. I need the one to show me where I'm going. I want you to remember that. That's really good. Okay, well, let me ask you this: if you could go back. And you have an 18-year-old daughter, right?
Yes, I do.
Around there.
Mhm.
But if you could go back and talk to your 18-year-old self,
Wow.
the one that thought that she'd be married forever to that guy because you married him very young, if you could go back and talk to her, what would you tell her? With all the knowledge, with everything you've been through, what would you tell her?
You are worthy. I didn't know what I was worthy of, that I was worthy of love. I grew up in a very dysfunctional, neglectful, abusive household. And I got out of it by the skin of my teeth, but what got me out of it was a man who married my mother and brought us into the church. And that was my first introduction to Christianity. But before that, I was always told how unworthy I was and how I was not good enough, and how if anybody knew who I was, then they wasn't going to love me. And, that pretty much made a trajectory in my life that I was always trying to win love, and I had to do so much in order for people to love me. But through my walk with Christ and with people, I've discovered that, yes, I am worthy of love. And so I take care of myself.
Yeah.
And there are some decisions that I make that are for me instead of being a sacrificial lamb all the time.
Yeah. Oh, that's powerful. I hope this can help someone. I'm so proud of you for having the courage to tell that story. Because, a lot of people, we only want to tell, what looks good. And here I am today. Nobody wants to talk about what they went through. And that's big. Like you say, you started this business from the ground up. You built it. You got divorced and you lost it. And now you rebuilt yourself. And I'm back.
I'm back.
Yeah, that's good.
And one of the most fervent prayers that I prayed, and it's a prayer that you have to pray and really mean it. I asked God to glorify Himself through my life. And not to glorify me, but to glorify Himself. And even as I went through the valley, that meaning really became clear to me. That means that sometimes things are going to have to be taken away and then restored in order for Him to be glorified. It means that I can sit here in my right mind and in health after everything and talk to you and still talk about what a good God He is.
Well, I'm going to be here for you. And like I always say, I'm that type of friend. If I see you veering up, I'm going to call you and tell you off.
You do.
I'm going to tell you off, tell you what's on my mind.
Yes.
Where are you? What's
Yes,
going on? I did that recently. I ain't seen you. Where are you? Because you know what? We don't want to slide back into that. You're doing so well.
Yes.
God has been so good. And let's tell everybody about, so this is Yola Gautier, Realtor, Chaplain. Realtor, Chaplain. Tell everybody what you are.
Realtor, Chaplain, Advocate, and Coach.
And she's an awesome realtor. Yola's a broker associate at Richards Reddick Realty. And she is like this all the time. She's a caring person. So, I want you to know what you see is what you get with Yola. She cares about you. Tell them about this business. How can people find you?
Well, you can find me on Facebook. There's 2 pages. My personal page, Yola Gautier, and then I also have Yola Gautier Chaplain Realtor. And you can send me an email at gautieryola@gmail.com. And also, I can give my phone number as well. It's 407-984-8981. And for all of your real estate needs, buyers and sellers, if you have a distressed property, if you're going through a divorce or you have a loss, then I have a team that will be able to help you throughout the process.
Yes.
Sometimes you're not able to depend on other family members because you're going through all the same thing at the same time. And so it's good to have level-headed business people that are involved to help you through that process. And I've been there. I had to do that with my parents when they passed away, liquidate their property and assets, as well as do so in my divorce. And it would just be good to have a professional with 20 years of experience
That
understands and that has experience both personally and professionally trained to assist you in your difficult times. So
Okay, one more thing now.
yes, ma'am.
We also speak Creole.
Yes.
And I love it. She already knows. Say something in Creole. I love it. Say something to someone that speaks Creole that may want to know that you're a realtor.
Well, I'm actually more proficient in French. So
Okay, French. Oh my God. Yes.
Non, je suis là pour vous aider. Si vous avez besoin d'aide pour trouver une maison, je suis là. Donc, tu peux m'appeler ou tu peux me envoyer un email et je serai là pour toi. Et nous parlons créole aussi pour tout le monde qui est haïtien, moi là pour vous aider.
That's right. We speak French.
Well, you did say my name with a French accent, so you get it there. I'm gonna keep rubbing off on you.
I love that. I love it. I love the fact that you speak two languages. You're bilingual. You're a caring person, and you're gonna be there for her. All right. This is Yola Gautier. She's told you should be able to see how you can reach her right across the bottom. We're out of time, so I'm gonna leave it right there. My name is Susan Reddick, and this is When the Cookie Crumbles. I'll see you next week.